If I got one thing right, it was you and me.
Hi everyone, my name is Ema and welcome back to my channel, or two if you are new. And today I have such an exciting one. If you have been following me for a while, you would know that dark romance is my favorite genre, and I'm just surprised to see that dark romances don't get read as much in the Halloween season, which I think is a perfect time to read them personally. Obviously, you have all the murder, mystery, thriller, horror books that you could read out there. Dark romances, you have that kind of thrillery aspect, not like traditional romances. You know what's going to happen. It's usually going to be a happily ever after. You know they're going to end up together. Dark romances, that's not always certain. So that's what I love about them. They aren't traditional. You don't know exactly what's going to happen. You don't know who they're going to end up with. Everything is left up in the air and you're really just going along for the ride, and it's such a good time. Lots of these have thriller aspects. Lots of them have spooky elements that I just think are perfect for this time. And also a little bit of a disclaimer, these are not for the faint of heart. There are lots of trigger warnings, lots of taboo subject matters, and if you don't really like that, I'll give you individual trigger warnings, but just letting you guys know, it is not for the faint at heart. Is it faint at heart or faint of heart? I'm not sure. But anyways, without further ado, let's get right into this video. I hope you guys enjoy. So the first book that I really want to talk to you guys about is Ecstasy by KB Rose. And this was my favorite book of the entire year. Obviously the year isn't over yet, but right now it's standing at #1 in my heart. And I'm just going to let you guys know right away. No secrets here. This is a love triangle. Please wait. Please don't leave yet. This is very different from a typical love triangle. So many people hate love triangles, but when I tell you guys that this is not a traditional love triangle, I'm telling you guys that this is not a traditional love triangle. This book reminds me of Euphoria a lot. We have our main characters Zara, Eli, and Alex, and Zara is a drug addict. Jeez Louise, I'm not selling this well. Please don't let that deter you at all. If you like the show Euphoria, this reminds me so much of it, and I feel like you would really enjoy it. Yes, she is a drug addict, and this is something she's been struggling with for a long time, and during all of this, she is in a toxic relationship with a boy named Alex, and they go to the same college, and we don't really experience their toxic relationship that much. We low-key do in the very beginning. Guys, it was so wild. We hear that it's on again, off again. We don't experience it, which thank God, because if they were going on again, off again, I think I would lose my mind. But basically, they break up, and at the same time, they're still kind of talking, but Zara kind of has an interest for Alex's roommate, Eli, and Eli is always around observing. He's always witnessed their toxic behaviors, but he hasn't really said anything. But until recently, he started protecting Zara from Alex, and they are kind of growing a relationship on the side, and it's so good, and it's not traditional at all. And guys, this was such a mind F, and it was just so good. I really can't recommend this enough. It's my favorite book. It's so good. It's so wholesome. I cried multiple times. It's just, you will see why it's a thrillery aspect. I don't want to spoil it for you guys, but there is a few thriller-esque scenes, suspenseful scenes. So Ecstasy by KB Rose, so good. Trust me. The next book that I really want to recommend for you guys is the Silver Swan series by Amo Jones, and this is either hit or miss for people. I've noticed that people either love it or they are kind of in the middle with it. I'm one of those people who loved it. I have the whole series here, and it holds a special place to my heart. I read each of these books in one sitting, and they were so good. So this is about this girl named Madison Montgomery. Right away, I think about American Horror Story, which already is a good sign. It's about this girl named Madison Montgomery, and she just moves to the Hamptons with her father after her mom killed the father's mistress and then herself. And so she moves to the Hamptons with her father, and she's starting a new life basically. And the father's actually remarrying another woman, and so Madison and her father move in with the new wife and the wife's son. She's looking for a fresh start, trying to get away from the rumors, trying to get away from all of the drama that was back at home. Madison gets the attention of a group of 10 bad boys, and one of them is actually going to be her new stepbrother. They live together. Really gains the attention of Bishop, and he's the kind of the leader of the pack. It's low-key like a secret society type of book. A group of boys called the Elite Kings Club, and she has some type of connection to them, and it's very wild. You go through this just wild ride. There's so many thrillery scenes where I was legit scared. I didn't know what was going to happen, but these are super fun. So far, there are 5 books out, and it's just so fun to binge. This would be a perfect time to read them. It's very dark, very dark, very dark. She is somehow connected to the Elite Kings Club. There's a lot of secrets, tons of mysteries that goes on in the series. So that's why I think it's perfect for this season. Again, a lot of people either love them or hate them. I personally love them. Maybe you will too. The next book that I want to recommend to you guys is Stay With Me by Nicole Fiorina. And I actually read this book pretty recently. It is so good. I talked about it in my wrap up, so briefly I'm going to talk about it again. This is basically about this girl named Mia. Something in Mia's past makes her develop sociopathic tendencies. And with this, she's kind of going through her life not really feeling anything, and she does things specifically to try to feel things. And she's causing lots of problems for her stepmom and her dad. She's causing trouble in school, ruining cars, running cars into garages, and just kind of going off the rails. And so her stepmom convinces her dad to send her away to boarding school that's like a college but for troubled people who have tons of different mental health issues and different disorders. And she goes there, but she doesn't really feel anything. She's like, all right, I'm going there, and that's how it is. And doesn't really feel anything for people. She sleeps around a lot just so she could try to feel. Goes there and meets Ollie, and Ollie has another type of disorder where he feels too much, and so that's his problem. She doesn't feel enough and he feels too much, and they're both at this school, and this was just a lot of fun. It does kind of have like a spooky vibe, thrillery vibe, because there's lots of mysteries that take place, and I think it's just a lot of fun. They're all just in this kind of like this boarding school, and they sneak out, but they also have all these rules, and if they get caught doing certain things, they could be expelled or they go to jail. This is the kids' last chance before they go to jail. They go here before they go to jail, and if they do well at this school, they don't go to jail. They move on with their lives. And so I don't know, it's just so much fun. I think it's perfect for this time because it's just really emotional, but it also has mystery elements and also kind of thrillery. So I really enjoyed it. I think you guys will too. And yeah, the next book that I want to talk about is It Ain't Me Babe by Tilly Cole. And this is actually part of a series. This is the Hades Hangman series, and I love this series so much. I've only actually read this one, so I don't know why I said that. I will get to that eventually. And this is basically about a woman, and she is escaping a cult. Her whole life she's lived in this cult and compound, very extreme, and she is finally escaping because something happens one day where it's just so bad that she's like, no, I can't be in this anymore. And she runs away. She ends up at a MC club, motorcycle. She ends up at an MC like club where a bunch of it's a motorcycle gang, and that's where they live, drink, have fun. And she's there just hiding, and instantly this guy recognizes her, and he recognizes her because when he was younger, he and his father were out doing something, and he stumbles across this compound and sees her crying, and he goes up to her and talks to her. What's really great about this is that it has disability rep, which I love, and it's really sweet and just so it warms my heart. He doesn't really know anything because she's lived her whole life like in this cult. It's kind of hard to read about sometimes, but it's very dark, and there are thriller aspects because obviously the cult is actively trying to get her back and look for her, and the MC club has its own grievances too. And I don't know, it was a lot of fun, on the edge of your seat, and I really enjoyed this, so I would really recommend you give this a try. It is definitely one of the most perfect ones for this Halloween season. The next book that I want to talk to you guys about is Sicko by Amo Jones, and this is the same author of the Silver Swan series. That series is called the Elite Kings Club. This is actually a standalone called Sicko, and this recently came out. It's about this girl, and she is adopted into this family, and her whole life she's had a very close relationship with her older adopted brother, and they are very close. They're always hanging out, and it's very taboo. Let me just warn you guys, it's very, very taboo. But they're always hanging out, always having a good time. And one day, the brother just disappears without a trace, without a text, without a call, without a goodbye. He is gone. During this time, there are lots of bad things start happening to her right when he goes away. And the story kind of picks up again after the flashback of them being together, with her starting her freshman year of college. And all of a sudden, her brother is back into her life. It's been about 3 years since they've seen each other, since they've spoken to each other. But she's actually going to school where he now lives, and he's actually the president of he's the vice president of a MC club. What I like about this is that it's not as MC club heavy, which I really, really enjoy. There are lots of scenes, but it's not all about the business that usually happens in MC club romances. And so it has lots of thriller aspects as well, because there is a huge mystery going on. We know what's going on for the most part, but the MC club does not, the brother does not, the sister does not, the main character doesn't either. And so it's a lot of fun. Basically, he comes to her life again, and he wants to protect her because the MC club is facing kind of a threat. And so anybody that is important to the MC club could potentially be in danger. So they're back in each other's lives again. And while this is going on, she is going through something else, and that's taking her away from a lot of things. It's a fun, spooky time, in my opinion. Trigger warnings for sexual assault, rape, and I think that's about it. Oh, familial relationships. It's just a really fun time, honestly. Even though some parts are really hard to read about, it's good. I really enjoyed this one. And the last book that I want to talk to you guys about is Hates Me and He Hates Me Not Duet by Rena Kent. This is a stalker romance, which I think is so much fun to read about. They obviously have that thriller aspect because somebody's stalking you literally in your house. I loved this duet. The first one is I think the first one is way better than the second one. It is very, very, very dark, and I just had so much fun with this one. It's about this girl, and she's actually a nurse. She has a very lonely life. She leads a lonely life. She has 2 cats, and she just is a nurse, goes to work every day, comes home. But from what I remember, she captures the attention of Jasper, and Jasper's kind of like a hitman, and he is a problem fixer. He goes and kills people. He's a part of the mafia, and he works for like the big man, and he just does what he has to do. And one day, this girl captures his attention. From there on out, his eyes are set on her. He is doing things to get close to her. He is obsessing over her. He's inserting himself in her life. And obviously, this isn't the healthiest relationship, but it is a lot of fun to read about. Super creepy, and I just have a good time reading it. First one, these are very short, so I think you'd be able to knock them out right away. Also, you have that mafia aspect as well. There's some gore, there's some killing, there's some murder. And yeah, that's why I think it's perfect for this time. I want to thank you guys so much for watching this video. I personally love dark romances, and I think they're just perfect for this time, like I stated earlier. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. Don't forget to leave a like or a comment if you enjoyed this video, and I will see you guys next time. Bye!